They called it a joke, a floating coffin. Some even called it Earth's embarrassment. When the Terran Alliance unveiled TSV Daggerfall, the galaxy laughed. No fancy graviton shields, no phased plasma railguns, no sleek, serpent-like design like the Alari dreadnoughts or Vorn stealth carriers. Just a thick, ugly beast of steel bolted together like someone built it in a scrapyard. Even Earth's own command didn't take it seriously, but Commander Jace Rennick did. Jace wasn't like other fleet officers. He didn't rise through the ranks with politics or connections. He was a soldier, born and forged in fire. Former ground marine, survivor of the siege of Andros Thive. They said he was too blunt, too reckless, too attached to the past. But Jace had seen what modern war had done to Earth, how sleek ships and smart tech had failed when brute force was needed. He believed in grit. He believed in legacy. And he believed in the Daggerfall, even when no one else did. The ship itself was a relic. Made from the old titanium carbon frame of a pre-Federation battleship, it had been retrofitted a dozen times over. Nothing about it screamed advanced, except for one thing, its power core. The Daggerfall ran on a modified energy drive salvaged from an alien vessel that crash-landed during the Silent War. Engineers had tried to reverse engineer it for years and failed. It wasn't compatible with most systems. It glitched, pulsed, and once nearly tore a lab apart. But Jace pushed to install it anyway, and they let him, mostly because no one else wanted the ship. When the Vorn Imperium invaded, they didn't even bother scanning for the Daggerfall. It was posted near the outer belt of Sector 9, guarding a mining station nobody cared about. Earth's fleet collapsed in a matter of days. Entire battalions erased, the Terran capital under threat. The call went out for all viable ships to fall back to Vega Prime to make a final stand. Daggerfall wasn't called. It was an afterthought. But Jace Rennick didn't need orders. He stood before his crew, all 143 of them, half of them barely out of training, and told them the truth. Earth was dying. The Vorn weren't just invading, they were exterminating. And if they didn't do something, Vega Prime would fall, and with it, the last hope of humanity's survival. Most captains would have told their crew to flee. Jace didn't. He asked for volunteers. All of them stayed. They ran the old core hot, stripped down the non-essential systems, boosted the remaining guns with unstable plasma infusers. The ship groaned and sparked the entire time, but it held. Daggerfall had been called many things, but never a coward. And neither was its captain. When they arrived at Vega Prime, the battlefield was already burning. Earth's finest ships were getting slaughtered. The Vorn fleet moved like ghosts, silent, fast, merciless. Daggerfall dropped out of warp into the middle of it all. The enemy ignored her. Their scanners barely registered the ship's presence. Outdated, unarmed, non-threat. Those were the tags in the Vorn targeting data. Jace grinned when he heard that. He walked onto the bridge, strapped into the captain's chair, and looked at his tactical officer. Initiate Ember Protocol. No one said a word. No one had to. Ember Protocol wasn't officially logged. It wasn't sanctioned. It was something Jace and a blacklisted Earth engineer named Oswin Hale had cooked up in secret. Something born from dozens of failed tests and sleepless nights. It involved pushing the alien energy core to its absolute limit. Past safety, past logic, past everything. The core lit up. Daggerfall's ugly steel exterior began to glow, red veins pulsing like blood under skin. For a moment, it looked alive. Then came the silence, and then annihilation. It was like a god had exhaled. A shockwave burst out, invisible, clean, and surgical. It bypassed shields, crashed guidance systems, fried weapon arrays, Vorn ships began to implode, one after the other, silent explosions in the vacuum of space, like stars blinking out. 30 enemy vessels were reduced to nothing in under 90 seconds. The humans on the ground saw it first. They looked up, expecting death, and saw salvation. The fleet couldn't believe it. Jace stood there on the bridge, lit by emergency lights, chest rising and falling, calm as the grave. They should have taken us seriously. From that moment on, they did, and humanity had just announced, with blood and fire, that it wasn't going anywhere. The silence that followed the annihilation of the Vorn fleet was unreal. Space, usually a sea of overlapping comm chatter, battlefield screams, and alerts, had gone quiet. It wasn't just the enemy who went silent. Earth's forces, still licking their wounds and trying to regroup, froze too. They couldn't process what they'd just witnessed. The TSV Daggerfall, that rust-covered hulk nobody took seriously, was now hovering among the shredded remains of a fleet that had humiliated Earth's best. Burnt Vorn hulls drifted like twisted metal corpses across the blackness. Their elegant warships were turned into junk in under 2 minutes, and all of it had come from that forgotten ship with a power core no one understood. Inside the bridge of the Daggerfall, Commander Jace Rennick stood from his chair slowly. His knuckles were white from gripping the armrests during the blast, and the emergency lights bathed the bridge in red pulses. It wasn't dramatic flair. It was necessity. The ship had suffered minor damage from its own energy surge. Some of the circuits had fried. The alien core was humming like a beast that had just tasted blood and wanted more. Jace turned to his second-in-command, Lieutenant Nora Hale, a wiry woman with sharp eyes and a sharper mind. "Report," he said, voice calm but low, like someone who knew the battle wasn't really over. She tapped away at her cracked console. "Hull integrity at 83%. Core output stabilizing. We've lost minor external plating near the portside thrusters. Casualties: 1. Ensign Coley took a hit from a blown relay panel in engineering. Status: alive, shaken. Doc's got him in medbay. Nothing fatal." Jace nodded. "Good." Behind them, the crew remained still, like they weren't sure if they were supposed to celebrate or brace for round 2. They had been ready to die, but no one had been ready to win like this. Not like gods, not like the monsters in enemy nightmares. The comms officer, Ramirez, finally broke the tension. "Sir, we're getting a signal. It's the Resolute. Admiral Wesson wants a secure line, audio and vid. Patch him through." A few seconds later, the main bridge screen flickered and came to life. Admiral Gaius Wesson's face filled the display. Even with a deep gash across his forehead and smoke curling around him from the still-burning bridge of the Resolute, his expression held authority. But his eyes showed something else. Shock, and maybe even fear. "Commander Rennick," he said, "what the hell just happened?" Jace didn't blink. "We neutralized the enemy fleet, sir." Wesson leaned forward, squinting at the screen. "Neutralized? You wiped out a Vorn armada in less than 2 minutes, with a decommissioned battleship and a prototype drive that was declared unstable and unsafe for field use." "Unstable? Yes. Unsafe? Not today." Wesson didn't laugh. He just sat back in his chair and exhaled slowly. "The Federation's going to lose their minds when they hear about this." "Let them," Jace replied. "Maybe it's time they remember humans aren't as helpless as we look." The screen went dark without ceremony. Jace turned back to his crew. "Begin recovery protocols," he ordered. "Scan for life pods, survivors, data cores, anything we can salvage. And tell engineering I want a full report on the core's condition in the next 30 minutes. "Yes, sir," Nora replied, already moving. As the crew got to work, Jace left the bridge.